Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. How would this make you feel? You've bought a new house. Oh my gosh, it is everything you wanted. And you worked so hard for it. So you've got the moving company that is showing up at the new house. You've got your family. You've got your friends. Everybody there is going to celebrate the moment you take ownership of what you've turned into reality. So get ready to open the door and you get out your key ring. Where's the house keys? I mean, there's the house keys for the old house, but where's the new ones? Oh my gosh, when you exchanged them out, did you get rid of the new ones on accident and kept the old ones? That happens quite frequently where the subconscious will say, well, that's not familiar, and it'll throw out what it was actually supposed to keep, and what it was supposed to get rid of winds up staying. Oh, and here you work so hard to take ownership, and now it's going to be delayed. How's it going to make you feel? You know, you've already been through it before. You had a dream that you worked so hard on. You put in the effort and you made it happen. And then just as you were ready to take ownership, it seemed like there was a delay, or maybe you couldn't even close on the house, on the dream. For some reason, it was taken away. Or what about this? Let's say that you're out with a group of friends and you have one of them that says, oh, I'm thinking about buying the same kind of car you have. Would it be okay if I drive it? So you let them drive everybody home. And then you get up the next morning, getting ready to leave for your day, going out and doing some things that you're going to enjoy. And where's your keys? Uh-oh. Did the friend that drove everybody back to your house and then left in their own car take your keys with them? Because that happens whenever we put our keys for our progress, for our happiness, even our joy in someone else's pocket. We can't make any movement because they're controlling it, at least for the time being. So, welcome to today, where you cannot unlock new doors of your dreams into reality using old keys. And you certainly aren't even going to be able to make a lot of progress if you put your keys in someone else's pocket for your happiness. If you're brand new to my world, Dawn Ferguson, I'm a certified hypnotist, as well as an instructor and a rapid results coach. Woohoo! You don't care about the initials behind my name. What it means is I know how to take you from where you are to where you want to be as quick as possible. In fact, same day results. You must get same day results if your subconscious is going to continue to support you, not same day resolution, but at least results. And why is the subconscious so important? Because it runs all of your habits and patterns, and success or failure is simply a repeated habit and pattern. So we're going to be talking about your 3 keys today. Key number 1 is going to be, does it give or does it take away? See, your greatest key is your ability to choose. We're going to talk about how you're choosing, you think, but in reality, the choice was made 7 seconds before you ever came up with your answer based on your past. So you need to upgrade that, or you're going to wind up not having the keys when it's time to take possession. Key number 2. What are you going to do when you get triggered? Because the triggers are going to be there. They are not going to go away. But based on key number 1, you're going to have the ability to choose what it brings out in you. And then key number 3, what are you in harmony with? What are you congruent with? Because for most people, they are in a vibration match with getting up to the edge of turning their dream into reality and then having everything fall apart because you've been taught you have to work so hard and you have to put so much effort forth to be able to make things happen. It's the middle class mindset. And so just as things are getting ready to be a little bit easier, your mind, just like allowing your friend to leave with your keys in their pocket or throwing away the new ones and keeping the old, your mind will always go to what's certain, and it will go to, no, it's getting ready to be too easy. We need to make it harder. By the way, if you have joined me live and if you have any questions on what I'm sharing with you today, please give me a shout out in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered right away. Okay. So, key number 1. It is also the number 1 universal law. And you may have heard of universal laws before going, oh, isn't that a little woo-woo and new age? No, these have been around since the beginning of time. And the number 1 law that runs everything in the universe is more life. That's right. Everything in the universe seeks fuller expression. But that expression can show up in one of 2 ways. It can show up as either growth and progress or decay and pain. If you think about it, disease seeks more life. In fact, here's a bonus tip for you. There is one thing that is more viral out there than any germ could ever aspire to be, and that is emotions, feelings. Within 1,000th of 1 second, you can catch an emotion, a feeling from somebody else. That's how fast they travel. That's faster than you can blink your eye. And emotions always seek fuller expression. So either growth or decay, progress or pain. That is the number 1 universal law. Everything seeks expression through that. We are the only life forms that we know of that get to choose how we want to express that. So whenever you're looking at a dream into reality, well, you want to ask yourself, does it give me growth? Or does it give me decay? Now, you can say, well, if it's a dream, of course it's going to give me growth. Are you sure? Have you picked out a dream that will give you safety instead of security? See, safety says I need to be dependent on other things outside of me to be okay. So, what if that dream doesn't come to fruition? What if it doesn't happen the way you thought it was going to happen? Are you going to then go into a victim mindset and go, oh, no, I knew it. See, good things never happen for me. Or are you looking at your identity and saying, who do I need to become in order to make this a reality? And that way, if the reality doesn't come to fruition the way you thought it would, it's still absolutely magnificent because it brought you out at your best, at your brightest. It activated your brilliance. So is your dream something to where it's really about you and who you need to be, that the revelation knowledge of what you already possess that needs to come out? Or are you dependent upon the things around you to tell you you're okay? See, if your dream is based in dysfunctional certainty, you will always be looking at things outside of you to make it okay. I was chatting with a family member over the weekend, and we were talking about somebody else and their latest round of what is it that Drew says? Better living through chemistry, aka more plastic surgery. They're not okay with who they are unless they're doing these things to change what's on the outside. True beauty is simply an externalization of inner harmony, which is the reason why I said, key number 3 is, what are you in harmony with? It's not what's you're in harmony with on the outside. It's on the inside. Okay, so is the dream you're wanting to turn into reality based on you bringing yourself out at your very best? And then those KPIs, key performance indicators, the results, not the cause, you're the cause, but the effect will then show up the way it's supposed to. So if you're not getting the goals, the dreams, the effects the way you want to, look at the cause. And it could be you have perverted your dream down to your past pain, to relying on what you think you can do, that where it's going to make it okay for you. What if the dream doesn't show up in the way you think it's going to? Can you still be okay with that? All right. So the greatest key number 1, is your ability to choose, but is it with the desire of revealing you, or is it all about minimizing pain in your life? Safety says you have to be dependent on other people, places, and things to be okay. Security says if it is to be, it is up to me. Because you may think that you are choosing, but you're actually not. When you have a thought, you have already been programmed and conditioned what to do with that thought. 7 seconds before you come up with, a choice, this is what I'm going to do, your subconscious mind has already decided to put it in alignment with your previous programming and conditioning. So you need to understand how to upgrade that programming and conditioning for revealing the real you, or you will go back to what patterns you already have in place. Okay. Number 2, what happens when you get triggered? Because they're going to happen. You are going to have people all day long that try to take away your keys. Why? Because they like the sound of them jingling on their own key ring. They like the weight of having that power, and how they can decide to open you up and what they're going to do inside and then leave. It's not your fault. You were programmed and conditioned to hand your power away like this. 80% of who you are was learned by age 8, and you were conditioned and programmed to make life okay for somebody else based on what they needed you to be, not on who you really were. I was talking with a woman that was like, this is horrific. One of her adult children in their 40s is having some challenges. And she goes, this is terrible that I think I may have played a hand in that my child's getting hurt this way. I'm like, no, all of this, of us have this. All of us go through this. And she's like, well, what if I tell my child that she could potentially take this action or this action to resolve her pain? I'm like, there you go, trying to take her keys again. I said, the adult condition is for us to discover our own keys. What you need to do is be silent. Validate that she's hurting and that you're going to be there for support, but don't give her the answers. We all need to be able to find out how we best work. So when you get triggered, what do you do? Do you go into the victim of, oh my gosh, I know that it never works out. It just keeps repeating. Do you go into the bully? Somebody needs to pay for this. Do you go into the martyr? Oh, I'm just going to have to sacrifice. Now, the other side of the martyr is the savior. No, I must go save somebody for me to feel okay in life. It's called the drama trauma triangle. The idea is to get off of it because it's a merry-go-round. You expend a lot of effort, you never get anywhere, kind of like a hamster wheel. So this is where you get to use your power of choice because each key is dependent on you unlocking who you really are with the key before it. So it's for you to be able to see both sides. See, when you get triggered, there's simply something you do not understand. That's all. So we have the law of polarity, the universal law of more life. And now we have a second universal law of polarity. And the law of polarity says everything is created as a whole. For there to be pain, there must be progress. Just like for there to be up, there needs to be a down, inside, outside, front, back, everything is created as a whole. So you want to look at, there's a side of you that's being triggered that was programmed and conditioned to have that reaction. Reactions are based on past pain, but there is a side of you that holds your response. Your response is based on future impact. So when you're triggered, what are you going to do with your choice? What is it that you need to understand? What is it that you need to be able to see? I'll give you an example of this. Whenever I was 13, I had an adult in my neighborhood who saw me as a very responsible child. I was already working a part-time job and set up for a position of responsibility within my family that on the outside looked really good, and it was very dysfunctional. But this adult in my neighborhood saw me as a confidant and decided to use me as a sounding board for things that were going on in their life, and told me stories about what they were experiencing, and just to have someone validate that they were going to be okay. But the stories that they were sharing with me would have made a therapist cringe. And had just turned 13. I had no business hearing that. But they saw me as being a very responsible mini adult. Why is that? Because I had been put in a dysfunctional role of responsibility in my first family. I was having to act like an adult because I had two people in the household that were in an authority position that had no idea most of the time how to be functional. And on top of that, I had three younger siblings that it was just assumed I was going to take care of. All right, surprise, surprise. I go into the field of being a healingpreneur, but this is the reason why I am so adamant on transfer of authority or transfer of power, that you are not flawed, you are not broken, you do not need anybody to fix you. You just need someone to assist you in revealing who you really are. So on one side, I had all this pain of having to act as an adult when I really should have been a child enjoying life. Well, what was on the other side of that? The inner advisor, the one that developed and matured and knew exactly what to do in certain situations. But we're talking about key number 2. What happens when you get triggered? So I needed to change an insurance policy here recently, and worked with an agent, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, we're upgrading you. It's got it all taken care of." And I said, "What about canceling the old policy?" And they said, "You know what? We've got this. I'll take care of it for you." Sunday night, something wakes me up in the middle of the night, and I know whenever that happens, I need to get real quiet because there's some sort of revelation that's going to come through, and I'm thinking, and my dysfunctional babysitter, which is what I call the part of me that was the 13-year-old that was groomed in a very unhealthy way to take care of adults. And how did that show up? Oh, I went into a marriage where I needed to be a dysfunctional babysitter for my partner. I was in careers where I would be promoted really quick, but then I would pervert that promotion back to my previous pain of babysitting. And I wouldn't allow the people underneath me to grow and flourish into who they could really be because I needed to be the dysfunctional babysitter. That's the part that kept getting triggered. Well, this is what woke me up, the dysfunctional babysitter. And she's like, I just know this agent didn't take care of things the way they were supposed to. Now, if I would have let her run with this, because we have a choice of more life is going to be growth or decay. If I would have let this part of my identity run with it, I would have been the victim. But I decided not to because I have choice. And it was like, thank you for making us aware of this. I will check it out tomorrow. And I did. Got up Monday, checked it out. Yes, the agent had dropped the ball. Yes, there was a part of me that was correct. See, my dysfunctional babysitter has to be given the parameters of when to search out when things are getting ready to happen, but she's not supposed to handle it. Now, what about your identity? Because everything's created as a whole. You've got this painful side of you. And does it think it needs to handle things that are going wrong? Or is it just supposed to make you aware of them? So you can't take possession of that dream with the old key of the old you. It'll never unlock the door, but it can let you know when there's going to be something that comes up that is going to cause a problem. But then there needs to be the other side of it. Your inner advisor, your wise woman. I call it goddess or Adonis. This is the part of you that says, yes, we know how to move forward with this information. We know how to respond instead of react. Okay. So, by the way, again, people will use your keys against you. I had let go of a couple of friendships over the winter. If you've been following me for a while, you know this, because they were triggering in me the dysfunctional babysitter. Now, there's an old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I actually give somebody 3 times. If they do it the 3rd time, no, we can no longer continue in this relationship. It's not that you can't go with me, it's that you won't grow with me. By the way, same way on the insurance agent, there's been a couple of other things that have happened. This will be the last one. So they will no longer be in my world. There doesn't have to be a lot of drama with this unless you go back into that old identity and give them the key to continue to open up and trigger you and use your emotions for their caretaking. Okay. So when you get triggered, when you get defensive, what is it that you do not understand? What's on the other side? What part of you is asking to be brought out? And key number 3, what are you in harmony with? You've got an identity right now that says the dream that you want to turn into reality, needs to be as problematic as possible, because you need to prove your worth. You need to work so hard. You need to hand your power away to other people. There needs to be a lot of drama, crisis, chaos, and confusion. You need to either sacrifice or save. And then you will get the crumbs that other people decide that you should have, unless you continue to push, 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 and finally make it happen. No wonder you're so flippin' exhausted. It's because you're using a part of you that was programmed and conditioned to make life easier for others at your expense. And you're using that immature side of you to show up in an adult world. So what do you need to do? We need to go back to key number 1. Does it give or does it take away? And how you've been choosing for certainty. Because you're certain of the crisis and the chaos and the confusion. And you will, this is where it gets crazy. You will actually seek out people subconsciously, you don't even know you're doing it, to replicate the original people that took your power away. Until I became aware of it, until I moved into this healingpreneur business, I didn't realize I was continuing to find people that needed to be babysat, that were going to be dysfunctional, that just wanted a sounding board, but never wanted to move forward. That, oh my gosh, I sought out players in the drama of life to replicate the original characters. Which is the reason why you can watch a woman go from one relationship to another, but it's the same bad guy. You can watch a guy go in and find he's in a relationship, and she leaves him because he's found to get all of his importance from his job. And he says, well, that won't happen again. And he goes into a new relationship, and nothing ever got any better. He still got importance from his career. And so now the second relationship is broken up because he doesn't know how to get importance from his primary relationship with his partner. Okay. The idea is what's on the other side. So I'm going to wrap this up for your plan of action. But this is what I want you to know, that you need to have a big idea. You need to have a big goal, not a small one. You need to have a big goal. But the goal isn't really what we're going after. You want to ask yourself, who do you need to be to turn that goal into the reality? Because that's the true dream. That is the true desire. So that's what you need to have. Who do you need to be? And then here's my big promise to you. I'm going to teach you how to get there. Go to drewdawnferguson.com/2021. And you're going to see Success Summit 2021, where for the first time ever, I am going to be revealing the system that I teach other certified hypnotists and I use with my own private clients to take them from wounded to wealth. These are the keys to the kingdom of you. I will teach you. Now, as good as that sounds, it's not going to be for everybody, which is the reason why you have a complete guarantee that lunch first day, you decide it's not what you need, then you just let me know and you'll receive a full refund. So drewdawnferguson.com/2021, because you need a system to break that 7-second rule. Because right now you think you're having an original thought, and actually what that thought is doing is it's just keeping you in line with your previous programming and conditioning. Okay. Now let's go back to your 3 keys and your plan of action for your power with them. Key number 1, choice. It's the greatest gift that you've been given. So, are you choosing for certainty or are you choosing for revelation? The real goal isn't outside of you. It's the dream of who you need to be. Key number 2, when you get triggered, when you get defensive, what is it that you do not understand? You're seeing the experience from the part of you that is your pain body. You're not experiencing it from the part that is progress. And then key number 3, what are you in harmony with, congruent with? What are you in a vibratory match with? And unless you've upgraded who you are and do that consistently, you're in a vibratory match to bring about characters, people, places, and things to trigger you. And you think you're making a choice, but it's based on pain avoidance instead of progress producing. You can do this. I believe in you. But belief actually takes 91 days to develop. So until you can develop it for yourself, borrow mine. I look forward to seeing you at Success Summit 2021.